unpredictable games, from some upsets to some correct and incorrect predictions. Welcome back to another wonderful episode of Elliot's Overtime Escape with your host, Mr. Elliot Maxwell.
Yeah, I'm doing great, you guys. How are you guys doing today on this wonderful Friday afternoon?
I am doing really well. Really excited to get our first episode ever at KDNK here at the Public Radio in Carbondale. Shout out to them for giving us a space to record, and we're really excited to hopefully continue with a partnership in the future.
Oh yeah, super excited for this, Elliot. Doing big things.
Third time for you.
Yep, third time guest.
Yeah, for those of you who may be new to the show, we have a special guest today, our very most special guest, Liam Mahoney. He is here to go through some predictions, some news with us on our sort of abridged episode today.
Excited, Elliot. I got some hot takes today. I think you'll be we can start some good dialogue with that.
Okay.
All right, I think we'll jump kind of straight into our week predictions for week 10, because that's what we have up at the moment. Our first matchup, our Thursday night matchup, was the Raiders coming into Denver for an away game at Mile High Thursday night. Elliot, who'd you have predicted to win that one?
I got the Denver Broncos. Basically because I felt the home team was the better for yesterday.
Yeah, it was a funny little matchup, to be completely honest. Thursday night football is truly back to its current form. I also had the Broncos winning it. I feel like it was really unlikely the Raiders would win that, but Thursday night football is back to its normal, silly, bad to watch self.
I said neither team would score 20 points, and I was vindicated by that awful offensive performance last night. It was tough to watch, but Broncos did somehow pull it out.
Yeah, it was a really funny game to watch. Not even 20 points total, let alone a single team scoring them. So yeah, it was a game. It happened. That brings us on to our first match in which country?
Berlin, Germany.
Over in Germany, across the pond, it is the Falcons and the Indianapolis Colts. Elliot, who do you have winning this one?
I got the Indianapolis Colts winning the game because I felt like they're the most great team in the AFC right now. So that's what I picked for my prediction.
Nice. And Liam, what about you?
Well, I'm thinking, if you've never been to Berlin before, it's kind of a crazy city. And whatever team, I was in Berlin last year, and they don't start going out until 2 a.m, and they come back at 8 a.m. It's like they do the whole sunset shift. So I'm thinking maybe Daniel Jones having a little too much fun in Berlin. Maybe getting too much of the atmosphere, and I think the entire Colts team goes out, has way too much fun on that night, and then Falcons pull it off.
Pull off an upset.
Yep, 30-15 Atlanta.
I could see where you're coming from. I think an upset's possible. I think the Falcons are sneaky good this year. Daniel Jones struggled against a strong pass rush last week, which we'll probably see again this week. But I do have this marked down as a bounce-back game. I have Indianapolis 32, Atlanta 20. Yeah, and what game does that bring us on to next, Elliot?
The Browns at Jets. I got the Cleveland Browns taking on the Jets and winning.
Okay. I also have the Browns going into New Jersey, beating the Jets. It could go the other way, but the Browns' defense has looked actually pretty stout this year. They've pulled some upsets on some good teams, so I'd be a little surprised to see the Jets pulling out against them.
This is a classic JV high school football match. I think it ends 49-0, but I just don't know to which team. So I don't have a really good prediction to it. I think it's going to be a total blowout for one side.
I think there's two ways this game could go. I think it could either be like incredibly tight and incredibly low scoring, super defensive, like 4 safeties throughout the game, or it could be like 70-0.
Now we've got the Panthers taking on the Saints. I got the Carolina Panthers going into and winning over the Saints because the Saints are terrible right now.
Yeah, I can't disagree too much. The Panthers are looking like a bubble, maybe a wild card team this year. I've always kind of had faith in them. I've always had faith in Bryce Young, even though he's so little and so small. I think they could actually be decent this year, and I think, it's a tough matchup for the Saints.
I am praying to the Saints that Bryce Young has a good game. He's my third string quarterback in fantasy this week because Mahomes is out and CJ Stroud got a concussion. So I'm hoping that the Panthers pull this one out, but again, another JV game. Probably not going to watch a whole lot of it. I'm just going to say Panthers to make myself sleep better at night.
Okay, I like it.
Now we've got the New England Patriots against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I got your your state team, New England Patriots, going to win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I think we're doing too much agreeing today. I'm going with the Buccaneers just off that vibe. Also, for Elliot's sake, to keep the Broncos' hopes and dreams of the AFC 1 seed alive, I have the Buccaneers winning this one.
This is the Brady Bowl, right? Super, super exciting. The two teams that Tom Brady played for, but alas, he played for my New England Patriots far, far longer. I think the spirit of Tom Brady flows through Drake May in this game at Raymond James Stadium. I think the Patriots put up 40 against the depleted Buccaneers defense and that entire team. So Patriots pull this one out, and I'm thinking, what does that smell like? Do you smell that?
I don't smell anything.
I think it's the first seed in the AFC that the Patriots are sneaking up on it, Elliot.
You talked about the spirit of Tom Brady. You mean the evil one, right?
The evil one, yes.
Here he cloned his dog the other day.
He did clone his dog. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I think he might have cloned himself too into Drake May about 23 years ago in North Carolina.
Evil is back in not New Orleans. Evil is back in the Boston area.
Like it never left.
Back like it never left. Elliot, what do you think about that?
I think Tampa Bay is going to lose and New England's going to win by 20 points.
I like the sound of that very much.
Yeah, whatever. All right.
Now we got the Ravens taking on Minnesota Vikings. I got the Minnesota Vikings win in Baltimore for my pick.
Yeah, I know I'm supposed to pick with the home team. However, last time I picked against the Vikings, and I believe it was the first or second time I had all season, they pulled off an upset in Detroit. So I'm hoping by voting against them, one, I give myself a bit of a win-win. If they win the real game, that's awesome. If they lose, I get the prediction right. So it's a win-win. I do think Minnesota could pull an upset here. They're actually at home, but they are considered like the over. Baltimore is favored to win this one in Minnesota. I do think that home advantage is very real. I think J.J. McCarthy might be really good, or he might be a game manager, one of the two. And I think we'll see, but I picked Baltimore to win.
I'm going to pick Baltimore as well. I think Lamar has a get-right game coming off an injury. Baltimore, they need this one bad, right, to get back into the playoff picture. I think Lamar rumbles and tumbles. 100 on the ground, 200 through the air, 4 total touchdowns. I think Baltimore wins this one easily.
Yeah, I think for me what it is this is kind of do or die for both of these teams. But the expectation is that the Ravens are going to be a playoff team, even though they started 1-5. So I just feel like if I'm predicting one to give it more effort and to like really try more to make sure that they can, keep their playoff dreams alive, I have the Ravens doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And
up next, we have the Buffalo Bills and the
Buffalo Bills taking on the Miami Dolphins. And I got the Buffalo Bills demolishing the Dolphins.
What's your take on this one, Liam?
I want both teams to lose, but I would love to see Buffalo lose more. Are they playing Miami or are they playing Buffalo?
They are playing in Miami. If you pick the Bills here, if you pick the Dolphins here, you are a fool, I will say.
I'm looking foolish today. I'm going Dolphins last-minute field goal. I think Josh Allen stinks the bed in South Florida. I think he does a terrible game. Patriots take another game up on the AFC East, and I'm smelling the playoffs again, Elliot.
I think you're a delusional fan. I think the Bills will win this by like 100. Yeah, the Dolphins have had like one good game this year, and credit to them for having a good game. Nobody thought that would happen. Tua still looks like they replaced his brain with something that isn't brain. Yeah, he has like bone broth brain right now. Mike McDaniel's seat is really hot, and I think when they get blown out, Mike McDaniels gets fired. That's my prediction for this game.
Now we've got the New York Giants taking on the Chicago Bears. I got the Giants for the win.
Not a shot. Bears all the way. I picked the Giants foolishly last week. I also have them kind of picked as like a fringe playoff team. That didn't happen. It's not going to happen. I think if Neighbors and Scatterby were still around, they'd be maybe considerable, but Jackson Dart just has nobody real to go to. He's like throwing to a bunch of like middle schoolers, essentially.
Yeah, Bears offense had a legacy game last week, but speaking of middle schools, that defense, I mean, I could run through that defense. So it's going to be tough. I think the New York Giants don't have a very good offense right now either. I think Chicago wins by 10.
You know, it's tough to gauge that defense, though, because Cincinnati's offense has been prolific these last couple weeks. If you look at, I believe there's a stat where they're the first team ever to lose 2 games in a row while scoring 36 or more points in each game. So that offense is really good. That Cincinnati defense just really sucks. And I think the Bears defense will have sort of a comeback game against what I think is like a kind of weak New York Giants.
Yep. All right, Elliot, what's our next game?
Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Houston Texans. I got the Jacksonville Jags winning this game. Me and Seth agreed on Jacksonville taking home the win.
Yeah, I feel like I have to agree with this one. I don't ever know what to think of Jacksonville. They seem really streaky, kind of all over the place, but they did just trade for some more wide receiver help with Jacoby Myers, a deep threat again, especially with Travis Hunter out, and BTJ having some real problems with holding the ball. But I do have them winning this one over a Texans team that just offensively has just not been there this year.
Yeah, I know the AFC South snooze fest. I don't know what team to pick here. I'll just go with the Texans because you guys both picked the Jaguars, but I wouldn't really be surprised if the Jaguars pull this one out pretty handily.
Yeah, I think it all depends on if they can bust through that Texans defense, because that Texans defense is looking pretty insane.
Pretty legit, yeah.
I would say maybe the number 1 defense in the league. The Broncos #fell off.
Uh-oh.
Watch your mouth, Seth. Watch your mouth. You're literally talking to the biggest Broncos fan on earth.
Exactly. All right.
So the pot. All right, Elliot. Our next game.
Cardinals at Seahawks. So both me and Seth agreed on Seahawks taking home the win.
Yeah, Liam, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I also think the Seahawks might take home the win. I think Kyler Murray's on IR, but when he comes back, are they going to play him at quarterback? Are they going to play him at running back? Are they going to play him at cornerback? Like, he was healthy last game, and Brissett still started. So I don't know what's going on in Arizona. They'll kind of have a dumpster fire of a season so far ever since they won those first couple of games. Seahawks are rolling. I think Seahawks win this one pretty handily.
Yeah, I actually want to add that Gannon actually named Brissett as the QB1 before putting Kyler Murray on IR.
Nuts, yeah.
Yeah, Jacoby Brissett has led that team better. Do I think that's enough to beat the Seahawks? Not a shot in the world. I actually have the Seahawks as like my number 1 power ranking right now. I think that team, it's firing on all cylinders. There's no obvious holes in it. The defense is great. The offense is great. And they just added Rashid Shaheed from the Saints to get, a little bit more wide receiver deep ball threat. I think the Seattles are a heavy Super Bowl contender this year.
Same here.
Now we got the Lions at Commanders. Both me and Seth put the Lions over Commanders for the win.
Yeah, rest in peace to Commanders season, first of all. But I did hear good news about Jaden Daniels today. He will probably not actually have to go on IR, as he will not need surgery for his elbow dislocation. So it's good if you're a Commanders fan, but also I think the season's over by the time he gets back. Marcus Mariota is just not a real football player. So yeah, Detroit, I think, handily wins this.
You know what? I got a weird feeling about this game. I think Detroit's going to go in a little too cocky down into, into this game. It might be sort of a catch game for them. I do think Detroit still wins, but I think it's closer than what people are thinking it's going to be, because I think a lot of games this week we'll think it's going to be a blowout, and it's never always a blowout.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a tight game that we weren't thinking. So.
I actually think the opposite about this one. Detroit just got upset by Minnesota at home.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be angry. I see this being a classic Dan Campbell run up the score to 60 on the other team game.
52-3, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. A few more games left, Elliot.
Rams taking on the 49ers. I got the 49ers taking home the win because they just look like a better team, but we never know what these games can bring.
Did I just hear 49ers better team than the Rams right now?
That's nuts.
That's a crazy hot take. Hot take of the day right there. My problem is that San Francisco is literally only Christian McCaffrey right now.
Mm-hmm.
If he gets shut down, that team does nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Stafford is playing an MVP level. Puka is playing insane. If he didn't get injured, I think he'd be right up there with JSN for the best wide receiver this year.
Right now, yeah.
I just see the Rams winning this one. I think their defense and offense are both better.
Me too. There's a lot of mileage on CMC's tires right now, I think. The Rams have a really good defense. I think they contain them, and other than that, I mean, what else do the Niners have going for them right now? So I think Rams will win this one pretty outright.
Now we've got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. I went Pittsburgh Steelers for the win because they look like a better team with no injuries.
I have the Chargers here. I know that the Steelers beat the Colts, and that's supposed to be a big deal, but also Daniel Jones decided to give them 6 turnovers, and they still only won by 7 points. So if you're +6 on turnovers and only winning by 6, I feel like, there's signs that it's maybe a fluke game. I think the Chargers get right here. Vidal actually gets the ball more, and they win this one handily.
60-year-old Aaron Rodgers playing nighttime on a Sunday night. That guy's got to go to bed by halftime. I think Chargers win this one pretty easily.
In LA, too.
Yeah.
He's going to be out doing ayahuasca the night before the game, so he will not be in his right mind. I think the Chargers take this one handily.
And the last, but certainly not most, is Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Green Bay Packers. I went the Eagles over Green Bay.
Tell me the logic behind that pick, because I feel like this is actually one of the toughest games of this week to predict.
Because I just felt like the Eagles need a win, and Green Bay, I think, lost to the Bear or lost to somebody.
Yeah, I like that logic. The Green Bay Packers confuse me this year, which doesn't make me mad because I don't like them. But all 3 of their losses, 2 losses and a tie, are to teams that are not good. Mm-hmm. But when they've faced good teams, they've showed up. I think this is going to be a close game, and I think it's going to be a sloppy game. I also think we're going to go back to Jalen Hurts, just being a checkdown merchant this game. I do have Green Bay winning it. I think that was before Tucker Kraft was out for the season with an ACL. I'm going to do a little mulligan here. I'm going to switch, and I'm going to agree with you. I think Philadelphia wins. I think without Tucker Kraft, the Green Bay Packers are just a tiny bit one-dimensional. Josh Jacobs is great, but he's really, like, he's a very predictable back, you know?
Yeah, not a whole lot of dynamism.
He's not
in his career.
Yeah, not in the pass game that much.
Yeah.
He's really like a third down goal line type of guy right now.
Yeah, and I like the Eagles O-line, but I also like Micah Parsons too. And what you're saying, I don't think Jalen Hurts has the best game of his life here. Eagles are kind of the opposite of the Packers. They'll beat up on really good teams, and they'll beat up on really bad teams, but when good teams come around, they might, struggle a little bit. And I think this Eagles team is talented, but they're a little disorganized. I'm not a big Sirianni believer. I think Micah Parsons has a great game in prime time. I think Packers pull this one out. I think late in the fourth quarter. I think they seal this one. So tight game though.
Yeah, I do think it's the hardest game to predict of the entire week, but it is certainly not the one I'm most excited to watch anyways, because both of these teams have been like weirdly boring this year, even though they're like supposed to be contenders, but feels like neither of them have really got like the wheels moving, so we'll see if that happens this
Sometimes
week.
you gotta play boring football to win.
All right, now I want to have a little conversation. Thursday night football happened last night. I'm going to make a crazy claim. I think the Denver Broncos are frauds this year.
Fraud watch.
Elliot, what do you think about that take?
Yeah, well, you are going to eat your words for breakfast because Denver Broncos are not a fraud team, and we should not be, because the Broncos are the best team overall in the AFC and all of the NFL.
So I was looking back at their win and loss column. They have beat exactly one team that has a winning record this season. That's all I want to put out there. They beat the Eagles. That's a great win to get. But it's their only win against a team with a plus 500 record. And I worry about the offense after seeing them only drop 10 points on the Las Vegas Raiders, who have been getting dunked on by like everyone and their mothers. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the Broncos' offense right now?
I think it just comes I just think the Bo Nix is having a great time and like the offense needs help, but like because most of our players are on IR, but like except Pat Surtain's not on IR, but our team is mostly healthy up to a stretch because I feel like once Ben Powers comes back from his injury come next month, I think our team's going to be making a deep run in the playoffs and hopefully getting back to the Super Bowl.
If it makes you feel any better, Elliot, people think the Patriots are frauds too because they're not playing very good teams either. And I also strongly disagree with them too. So maybe AFC Championship game, Broncos, Patriots. We see who actually.
Or Broncos Jags in the AFC Championship game.
Broncos Jags.
So
Jags
I
doing?
can see the Broncos being there. I have a
Yeah.
lot less faith in the Jags making the AFC
Jaguars in
Championship.
Cancun by that point.
Yeah, the Jaguars will be asleep, having a nice rest. No, I do think the Broncos are really good. I think that defense, they actually historically, a lot of people have been talking about Drake May being the second Tom Brady. The Patriots look like the Patriots of old, which I actually agree with quite a bit. And I haven't seen a single person talking about this is Peyton Manning era Broncos right back, a quarterback who does the job well enough. He's a great game manager and a really ruthless defense. Is that not what won them the Super Bowl in 2015?
Yes, the no-fly zone.
Yeah.
No-fly
Exactly.
zone.
So while I do think there's a little bit of fraud watch there, I do think they absolutely can be and are a bit of a contender in the AFC and possibly for a Super Bowl.
Me too.
All right. Elliot, what should we get into next?
Next up is the 10-minute drill.
Yeah, for time's sake today, I feel like we should just go over maybe some trades and what we, kind of think about them, how we think they're going to affect the league. I think first up we have to go with, the biggest trade that happened before the deadline. Sauce Gardner to the Indianapolis Colts for 2 first-round picks. Insane trade. What do you think about that, Elliot?
I think it's such a great pick to give to another team that needs the help for and we all know what trades happen. They can hurt teams or they can help a team get through injuries.
Yeah, I think Sauce Gardner is not the same corner he's been. I think he may help that Colts team make a push to the Super Bowl, and if they make or win a Super Bowl, I think it was worth the trade. Anything else, and I think they got fleeced by the Jets. 2 first-round picks is so much to give up for a cornerback.
Yeah, I'm just happy that Sauce Gardner is out of the AFC East. Seems like the Jets have been tanking my entire life, and I am not upset about that at all. They'll screw up those first 2-round picks anyway, so I'm not too upset.
I hope not for Justin Fields' sake, assuming he still gets to be the quarterback there. But there's no quarterbacks right now in the draft anyways.
Yeah.
We already talked about Rashid Shaheed a little bit. We already talked a little bit about Jacoby Myers. I think, our last one for the day. Another Jets trade. They got first and second round picks, a 2026 first round, 2027 second round pick for DT Quentin Williams, probably their best defensive player. And one, D lineman from the Cowboys who's
Mazie
just
Smith,
okay.
I think,
Yeah, I think Mazie Smith. Also, the Colts gave up one of their wide receivers for Sauce Gardner.
Mitchell.
Yep,
Yeah.
Adonai Mitchell, who I think is really good.
If he didn't, drop the ball at the goal line.
One mistake, if he
Yeah.
didn't have that, I think he'd be a good, second option there.
He wouldn't have woken up 1-8 or 1-7 or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, the Cowboys trade for Quentin Williams. What do you think about this trade?
Yeah, Cowboys need help, and this player is such a great pickup for the Cowboys to make a trade for her.
I'm in the other camp again. I think the Jets had an amazing trade deadline. I've never seen their front office do anything good, but what I will say is that I don't think that's enough to get the Cowboys anywhere. I don't understand that trade. I know they had one other trade as well for a middle linebacker. They need a whole new defense, and to me that comes in the draft and giving up 2 big draft picks.
Well, they did get them off of the Micah Parsons trade.
That's true.
Too, but is it really worth the value? And you also have to pay Micah Parsons too. So I don't know. I get the rationale on both sides. Also, going to that point for the Jets, it's great that they have all of those first-round picks, but they're only so valuable as you can draft them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you draft good players, then you look like a genius. But the Jets do not have a good track record of doing so. So a little precarious, if you ask me.
I think we'll see. I think the next couple of years will really tell who won that trade. But to me right now, assuming the Jets can trade get decent players out of it, I think it's good for them because they weren't doing anything with those players anyways. They were only going to get older. Clearly they're rebuilding. I'm surprised they didn't sell Breece Hall before the deadline.
Me too. To the Chiefs or something.
Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah.
Well, I think that'll just about do it for today. Elliot, do you want to take us out?
Yeah, now it's time to end the show. Thank you all for watching and listening. Now it's the host of Elliot's Overtime Escape, your host Elliot Maxwell, signing out.